GMAT, how to start. I know you're thinking about that, and that's why you're here. In this video, I'm going to help you start your GMAT preparation right now. Let's get started. The GMAT is just a means to an end. What I mean by that is, you need to write the GMAT in order to do an MBA from the leading MBA programs in the world. And doing the MBA itself is a means to an end. You probably want to shift from your current profile to a new profile in a management role. So you want to do that for your current line of work, or maybe a new area of interest or industry, or a new function perhaps. Or maybe you want to start your own business and you have an entrepreneurial bug in you. Or it could even be that you just want the exposure, the experience, and the network building opportunity that a world class MBA provides you. But no matter what you're looking at, what you need to realize is the GMAT is a step in the entire journey. It's a means to an end. And in the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey had said, begin with the end in mind. So, the best place for you to start your GMAT preparation is with the end in mind, which is the MBA program. When you apply to an MBA program, you got to keep the concept of a balanced diet in mind. When you have a balanced diet, then you have the right amount of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and micronutrients. The same way, when you have a balanced application, you have the right amount of GMAT score, essay, academic background, and work experience. The essays are based on your goals. What do you plan to do after you finish your MBA? And how will the MBA help you achieve that goal? Also, why do you need an MBA from that particular college? All those things need to be addressed in the essay, along with what contribution, what will you bring to the table if you are enrolled into the program. The same way, they also look at your academic background. What is your GPA? If you have any work experience, you have to condense your work experience into a resume which highlights measurable improvement that you have made in whichever role or profile that you have fulfilled. All this together with your GMAT score creates your application package. So, when you think about your GMAT score, I don't want you to think about it in isolation. The GMAT is very important, but remember, it is not everything. There are people who score very high on the GMAT but get rejected because other aspects of their application package aren't strong enough. But for now, let's just assume that these other factors are already taken care of. In that case, how much do you need to score on the GMAT in order to be a strong candidate? Well, actually, your GMAT score is determined by what level of business schools that you're aiming for. Are you aiming for the top 10 programs? Are you aiming for the top 11 to 50? Are you okay with 51 to 100? Or are you fine with 101 to 151? Your GMAT score really influences the tier or level of business school that you can apply to. It defines your reach. And that's what we're going to talk about next. What kind of GMAT scores do you need for the top 10, top 50, top 100, top 150, top 200? Let's talk about that. Here I have the score pyramid for you. On this side, I have written the various tiers. These are based on the rankings of the business schools all over the world. So this would be the top 10. This is 11 to 50, 51 to 100, 101 to 150, 151 to 200, and more than 200. Here you have the corresponding GMAT scores. But one thing that I want you to keep in mind is these GMAT scores are based on the average GMAT score. So if the other aspects of your application package, such as your work experience, your academic background, and essay, are in the average to above average range, then this particular table will work out for you, or this pyramid will work out for you. Here I have the score pyramid for you. On this side, I have written the various tiers. These are based on the rankings of the business schools all over the world. So this would be the top 10. This is 11 to 50, 51 to 100, 101 to 150, 151 to 200, and more than 200. Here you have the corresponding GMAT scores. But one thing that I want you to keep in mind is these GMAT scores are based on the average GMAT score. So if the other aspects of your application package, such as your work experience, your academic background, and essay, are in the average to above average range, then this particular table will work out for you, or this pyramid will work out for you. In case there are cases where your profile may be below average, or maybe you want to target a scholarship, or you can even have a combination of both. Your profile is slightly below average. It might be in terms of number of years of work experience, or it could be that you don't have a management position in which you have achieved anything measurable, or it could be your academic background. Maybe in your college you couldn't secure a very high CGPA, or it could be that you're not very clear about what your goals are and your essays and letters of recommendation are pretty weak. Whatever is the case, if you have a below average profile or you're looking for a scholarship, then you need to go up one level. For example, suppose I have an average to above average profile. Then, if I want to apply to the top 100 business programs, then I need a score between 650 to 680, this 51 to 100 range. Okay, I need this score. But suppose I don't have uh, an average to above average strength in these areas, then in that case, I have to either score higher or aim lower. So you have to modify either the kind of colleges that you're targeting, or you have to modify the kind of score that you're looking at. With that in mind, you can take the first step in your GMAT preparation right now, which is to decide what is your target score range. That's the first thing that you need to do when you're taking the GMAT. Let's do that right now. Which range are you applying to in terms of business college? And what is the GMAT score that you need to aim at? And for now, let's assume that you have an average to above average profile. So look at this table and decide right now what is the score that you're targeting, and write that in the comments. I'll drop in, say hi, and if you need any assistance or if you have any query, then I'll be happy to help you in any way that I can. Okay, now remember, deciding your target score range is just the first step in the entire journey. After you define your target score range, the next step is determining the number of days you require for your preparation based on how far you are from your target score range. Now, I covered all that in a separate tutorial, but I think what you really should watch next is how I was able to improve my GMAT score from 650 to 700 within 2 months. I've covered everything that I have done in order to make that jump, the books that I've used, the study plan, and the strategy that I followed. Now that you have taken the first step, you've already started your GMAT preparation. So keep up the momentum and watch this video right now to learn how I completed my preparation to allow me to go from 650 to 710 in the GMAT within 2 months. That's right here.